our buddy, Frank Seravalli.
Wow, Frank, how we doing?
How we doing, Frankie?
Rhett, is that a little salt in that mustache?
There's a lot in there. What do you address it?
I mean, I just keep going. I mean, I obviously don't address it. So.
No, I know, but yours looks good. Like it's complete. Like it's all in. Or this, it almost looks like I got some booger in there or something.
I mean, maybe you do.
In fairness, I think some of it is. Some of it's great,
but snow on the Rockies.
You do have a bit of maybe one hanging here.
Right, you got a bat in the cave.
Yeah. So last week, now ordinarily I would get pissed off. Well, Frank can't be on today. Well, what's his excuse? Well, he's going to Chicago to sit down with Connor Bedard.
Yeah, Bedard, barn burner.
I know.
Bedard. Yeah, sorry.
That's why we're pissed.
It's tough to win that tug of war, but we'll take the L on it. You sat down with the Phenom. How was he?
I've probably done. I was trying to think of the number of interviews. It's got to be way north of 1,000, 2,000 interviews in my career.
Jeez.
I was nervous. Like I don't get nervous, and it's not because of the player. It's like, how do you find a way to relate to a 19-year-old, let alone one who's pretty guarded and really well coached and has been in the spotlight since he was 12. And there's not a lot else to draw on. It's not like you can, talk about a favorite hobby or something else. This guy is all hockey. It's all consuming. It's all that he thinks about. And I just found that the best solution was just try and drill down on exactly that, hockey. And what I hoped to go in there and learn was about how his brain works, how he thinks about the game, and to have him peel back a layer on that. And I was really impressed, came away really thankful that he was willing to open up and talk about some of those things, because he just has such an elite processing unit that I think he's in that category with McDavid, with Barkov, with McKinnon, anyone that's got that sort of way to think about the game. He's right up there.
You do get the feeling, because they trot the number. Well, here's where McDavid was after 90 games, 100 games, or all this sort of things. Well, he's at or above in a lot of those. How hard is it going to be? Because you hear people, it's just going to be Chicago again. They're going to have the best team. They're going to get another high draft pick, and this and that's going to be. Is it that easy to recreate the Blackhawks? Let's call it 1.0, just because you have McDavid or you have Bedard and another high pick coming, or is there more to it potentially?
I mean, look at how difficult it's been for the Oilers, and they have the second piece of the.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Rocket fuel.
Bedard too, with Bouchard.
Well, and that's also been a bit of a slow burn to get him to that point, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't happen overnight. I think the Blackhawks feel really good about their defense core moving forward. The next couple of years, they think they've got a lot of those pieces, but they don't have a goalie. They don't have that second box to check on their roster that, it can at least even play with Bedard. Like, Teuvo Teravainen has been a really good signing for the Hawks, mostly because he's the only guy on the team that can process the game even remotely as fast as Bedard. And that part, you've seen some of the production already. He was closing in on the best 7-game start of his career, and he's been in the league for a while. So they've got a lot of work to do, but I think they've got the hardest piece to get, which is that super elite, super duper star.
Yeah. Talk about high picks. Sure seems like San Jose is going to have one again.
They were so bad
again. We talked.
And they haven't won yet again.
Wait. Before we leave, can I just?
Sure. Yeah.
What else came from the Bedard? Was there anything unique that you going in were, like you've said? Like, I think all of us, if you follow hockey and you're interested in it, you've paid attention to Bedard. He is all in on hockey. Doesn't eat fast food. Like he
doesn't like his teammates. Like I went to Nick Foligno before and I said, hey, like, give me something to talk about with Bedard. He sits right next to me. He goes, good luck. I'm like,
yeah, like
awesome. And then I'm talking to Pat Maroon. I'm like, come on, man, you got to give me something. Like, I need just like a little thread to pull on in our interview. He's like, he goes, dude, I don't know that he even leaves his house. He sits there, he watches hockey, thinks about hockey. So I did learn, and maybe this can endear him to the group, is he has gotten really into football. Being in Chicago, he has picked the Bears as his team, which I would say is a smart choice. And he's actually somewhat good at fantasy football, which is kind of encouraging. But Rhett, you'll enjoy this. And I can just give you a little snippet because he explains it better than I can. But the way that I think about Bedard processing the game on the ice now is I think of him standing there with a Rubik's Cube that's constantly like spinning it and clicking it to try and find open space and open ice. He referred to his off-season training as being put in really difficult situations and trying to, quote, problem solve. Now, I don't know that many other players that think about it quite like that, kind of like putting pieces together, but to kind of just get some insight from him on how that works, that part has been really interesting.
So what would he do to simulate that?
Yeah, because Ryan's got 2 kids and he wants them to.
They're clearly bound to be superstars if they're not in prison.
So he plays in
drills.
He does a couple different things. He trains with like 10 other NHLers in North Vancouver there that they all kind of really push each other. And a lot of it is like simulated situations that they find themselves in. And then on Sundays, they do like a massive 3-on-3 league that they actually take pretty seriously. Like they draft their teams every Tuesday. And like, he's like, dude, we had some sessions in 3-on-3 that like they went for literally 3 hours.
Now you're American. Do you know who Albert is?
Albert? Fat Albert?
Well, Dean knows who Albert is. Ryan, do you know who Albert is?
Einstein?
Jack?
No idea.
Because I would be Albert.
The only Albert that I think you might be referring, is he the guy that got picked last?
That's right.
In the
Dean.
Canadian Tire
That's right,
commercials?
Dean. There's old Canadian Tire commercials, and you used to. So picking these teams, is there always someone that's last? Like I would be Albert. I'm going last overall. Phil Kessel.
I don't know, but that I can't imagine what that feels like. I mean,
And then when
sure,
somebody
like,
does take you, it's just a charity pick.
Well,
No, don't take that. Take me last. Christ.
It's fine. I just wondered if there was, if they're drafting every Tuesday, if there's a common denominator.
This is why we need Rhett
is
in
last.
these interviews. He doesn't have dumb media questions. He's digging for Alberts.
exactly. That would have been his
Who's
question.
the Albert of Bedard's 3-on-3 league? I want to know
Call him
that.
back. Give him a call. Give him a call.
All right, I'm gonna get on the plane.
We'll wait here.
You can Google that ad. You'll see what I mean.
I'm not sure if you might be. I'm not sure. It might
be hard to find.
It might be.
Someone's taking it from VHS and put it on the internet. Yeah.
So yeah. So get just moving on. San Jose 0-7-2.
First team in NHL history, 0-9 back-to-back years.
So I was watching the first game they had of the year. They had like a 2 or 3 goal lead after 40 minutes. And the panel, someone was way too excited on there. This is so key because you got to wipe the slate from last year, and they're going to hang on and get this win and show that it's going to be different. And I'm like, oh, this is so early for this guy to say this ship has turned. And they won a game. Like they've gone on added ventures. They spent a bunch of money. They're still not good at hockey.
Well, they're also missing the prized number 1 pick, which watching that first game 7 minutes in gives you a shot in the arm that you can't simulate. You can't fake. And then all of a sudden you're asking so much of Will Smith, who's supposed to be riding shotgun with Celebrini, and they're still really thin, right? Like it's not, you're not going to be able to snap your fingers and turn that around like that. What I will say is, given the fact that they started 0-9 last year as well, I still think this team has a 10+ point improvement this year.
And again, they were like pretty historically bad.
47 points last year.
They hanging around like the McDavid year Sabres, like purposeful tank. Like it was brutal. At what point does Mike Greer run out of leash here? I guess is more to the point. Like we understand it's a rebuild, but they do want to see significant progress here. They were brutal, like unwatchable. Don't buy the tickets bad last year.
To me, the biggest crime that's existed in San Jose is that they didn't tear it down quickly enough.
Yeah.
Like you have to be in an absolute race to get to the bottom. And the fact that he's in year 3, right?
I would think so. Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while and there still is further to go to get there.
Are we watching now in San Jose what could be happening in Pittsburgh in 3, 4, 5 years time? Because it was San Jose. We've got players. We'll go to a cup final.
good,
We're
good,
very
good,
good.
good,
We
good,
can't
good,
quite
good.
get
Too long.
there.
Decades of good.
Then we'll add Carlson.
Keep
which is
trading
all
first. Keep trading
interesting.
first.
Keep trading, and then
Ooh.
Thornton's done, and Marlowe's done, and Pavelski's old, and
Classic can't play. On we
And
go.
I just wonder if that's similar. perhaps.
I think actually Pittsburgh is closer to that than you might realize. I already see Pittsburgh as a bottom quartile team in the NHL.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, it was. It's been some ugly. They just passed through Western Canada. There's been some brutal games. When you look back to Sid signing, I remember we were in Penticton for the Young Stars event mid-September when he signed that extension, and everyone's like, "Well, he just gave the Penguins a really good deal, but did he just cap off his Stanley Cups at 3? Because how does this play out from here?"
I mean, not that capping off your Stanley Cups at 3 is bad or anything. Pretty good run.
Oh, it's incredible. It's just that, we might not see him in the playoffs again if he stays in Pittsburgh.
If he asks for a trade, he'll get it.
Yeah, and that's sort of
But
where
he's
I'm going.
not. He's never going to. That's
Yeah.
not in his DNA. It's not what he wants. He wants to be a one team for life Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Penguin, and he's said it. And every time he says it, no one believes him.
We just want to see him play on a good team. We feel for him more than we don't believe him.
Okay, so then if you want to see him play on a good team, if you're Kyle Dubas, don't come in and sign Tristan Jarry to a 5-year deal at north of $5 million a year.
Fire that guy.
Don't trade for Erik Karlsson at $10 million a year, and also trade a first-round pick on top of it. It's one thing to take on the bad deal. It's another thing to also give up a first-round pick, which then just further delays exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah, and
Even if
Hextall
you-
had some big blunders before that. It's been a rough go there.
And
for
it
a
sounds like Carlson, part of it's the give a damn's broke, but it sounds like he shouldn't even be on the ice right now.
And then I saw this story in The Athletic the other day. Josh Yohe asked him, how would you evaluate your play so far? And he responds back, quote, great. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what they're missing.
Cared. He's only ever cared about himself. Carlson to me has always been that defenseman that, like in Ottawa, they had that great run and he was playing. He was unbelievable. He's so unbelievable.
The cup final,
but it was about him doing well. I don't think his focus was about helping it was a byproduct of him playing well that the Senators were having more success, but he's not about team success.
So, okay. I'm not disagreeing with you, but what I'm saying is then listen to the counsel that Jason Spezza has been providing to Kyle Dubas. Jason Spezza is the assistant GM. He's pounding his fist on the table saying, you have to go out and get Erik Karlsson. This is the guy. He cares so much. He's going to turn our team around.
Who's he helped? Like in what team situation? You could argue Ottawa, but
they were a bad team. He almost come to the final. That was incredible.
I'm not saying his play wasn't good.
No, but that's helping a team.
But then he went to San Jose, and it was Burns. How great are they going to be?
Have you heard more about him helping a team have success or being a hindrance?
I think he's a great player. I don't think there's been good fits his last 2 stops, and I think he's well past his prime. I'm not going to fight you on that.
And he's still probably a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Like 100 points as a
D-man,
level's
undeniable.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. So they make this trade, and he goes from 100 points to his production dropped by 40% in 1 year on a Pittsburgh team that's way better. So help me understand, how does that happen?
That's what my point is, that when it's not all about him, there's lots of, if he could just go and freewheel it and take all the ice time and care about getting his points, he'll be fine. But once the team has to win and he's got to give up some of that, the success isn't there.
I just don't know that he can. I think there's definitely the work ethic thing, but it's like Erik Karlsson's much more valuable putting up points than trying to be good defensively. He's never been good defensively ever.
Not asking him to be good defensively.
Well,
Then they also have Chris Letang, who's never really been good defensively.
Right.
And so when they went out and made that trade, you can go find the videos. They're on YouTube somewhere. I was saying, this is not a guy that they need. They don't need another Chris Letang. They don't need Erik Karlsson. They need a true defender. They need a stud defender. And they didn't go out and get him.
Traded a couple away.
And if you couple that, you have a couple guys in the back end that are past their prime. We're always more offense than defense anyway. But so they've become leaky, and your goalie.
And Evgeny Malkin, this is how bad this team has been. Evgeny Malkin off to the best start of his career. Hart Trophy winner. Best start of his career this year. And they're still nowhere.
Is there any chance? I referenced it last week that it was a Dallas situation where Seguin and Ben are still parts of it. So Crosby and Malkin, those guys, but they don't have the
No pieces.
the pieces, younger pieces and draft.
Robertson, Hintz,
I'm looking for a word.
Stankoven. Like, there's no kids coming. The pipeline's empty.
Well, that's because they didn't have any picks, and then they compounded the problem and made it worse.
Okay, and so
the only
just,
guy that they have in their system is Rucker McGroarty. That's it. One guy.
We looked at their draft picks last week.
was
Like they don't
John.
even have a fluke. Like you know what I mean? Most teams will have someone
fill 'em
somewhere late that kind of turns out. I think it was D. Simone, wasn't it?
Yeah, like Dominic Simone was the last guy that actually played any number of
Jeez.
games that
Well,
came
now
after.
they've got Joel Blomqvist in net,
Yeah.
second round pick. That's really kind of it.
And so to get back to like where the state this was when Dubas took over, because I don't love the move, but this was a mess before he got there. They wouldn't have gone and hired him. Jared McCann, great player, 40 goals, been great for Seattle, 7th rounder for him. They move a second for Granlund, who was not a fit. Marino and Matheson moved out for Petrie. They extend Kapanen and Jeff Carter. Those are disasters. Like, this was a long run of bad GMing. It's not 2 years of Dubas. It's Dubas plus the Hextall era.
No, but he just compounded the problem.
Correct. Yeah. They were up shit creek, and now Sid's locked in at a low number. I feel for him.
I don't know what your take with the Sid is.
Oh, I just wish he'd
bring.
yeah,
I mean,
I wanted
this
to
is
see
a
more.
Ryan Pinder thing. It's not an anybody but youth. Like he's taking them. He doesn't want to go
So
anywhere.
you don't want to see Sid in the playoffs ever again?
He's
So-
won 3 Stanley Cups.
He
Did
can
you
do
say
whatever
yes
the
or
hell
no?
he
I don't know how many cups he
I don't
has.
need to see it again.
Okay.
He's done his
I would like
winning.
to see him in the playoffs.
There's a lot of young kids in the league. I don't sit there on opening night and think, man, where's Sid? It's like, well, there's McKinnon and there's
kind of a Mount Rushmore guy. I'd like to see him in the playoffs.
I don't know.
He already is. He doesn't need to do anymore. Back-to-back Conn Smythes. Like,
scored the golden goal. What else does he
You're
have
both
to do?
right. He doesn't have to
Yeah,
be.
I'm
And
not looking
Pinder-
backwards. I'm looking forwards. I'm kind of just
You
lamenting
want-
the
but-
loss.
but
I'm
you're-
writing him off.
But when
now.
you say it, you're like you're painting the Penguins and Crosby with a bad brush for doing that signing. And it's like, well, he
Yeah,
can do whatever
somebody's
the
at
F
fault.
he wants.
For
Yeah.
him
I
staying
mean, if
where
he wants to win a
be.
cup, he's at fault. Yeah.
Yeah, but he's won 3 cups.
Yeah.
You
If only
can't.
he had
You should
your
just
winning
say
attitude.
yes. I just want him to play in the playoffs. That's my take.
That's what I just said. I took
No, you
heat for it.
didn't. Then you said there was a fault. Like you. Anyway, it's fine. It's both, and I don't think Sid signing back in Pittsburgh at that number hurts Pittsburgh. And if you,
Not at all. Yeah. It's just, yeah, he's, yeah, I think I don't know. I just wish he was on a good team.
There
That's
we
all.
go.
I wish he was on a good team.
Stamkos back to Tampa tonight with his 1 goal in 8 games. For the
1
National
point.
Guard.
1 point.
They had an overtime winner. I think it was Shea to Marchessault the other day. So there's
Marchessault
probably
made a nice-
feels good.
yeah, made a nice play in
Was
that
it
goal.
2 in a row after 5 losses in a row?
3. They've won 3 in a row.
Okay. So here we go.
Well,
I never liked
is that
when
here we
happens.
go?
It happens that early in the season. You'd like there to be some build up. Hey, Stamkos, we're going to be coming back here. Tampa Bay looks all right. That's
yeah,
the other
I
thing
think-
too, right? When the team that I think they're doing okay without me.
Yeah, that's probably the toughest part. It's not just that Stamkos has really struggled. It's also that Tampa looks like you could
And this-
certainly make
and
the
this
argument that
Gensel guy you're running around with.
they made the right move.
Looking young Gensel
Younger.
guy. What's he got that I ain't got? No, I think it's that was another one we talked about all year last year. You were very much on point of saying, move on from Stamkos. You've done your winning.
But for me, it was you don't need to bring Stamkos back to have success in Tampa Bay, and you might be better off letting him go. I mean, we're 8 games in, so sure, Tampa Bay looks good.
Where are you at on Nashville?
I think they've got a ton of room to get better. Saros, you see, just finally kind of getting back to his form. It took him a while to get his first win of the year, 33 save shutout. He does that. His numbers are sort of getting back on track. I think he's at 908 now on the season, which after a couple tough ones shows you how good he's been of late. That power play, they've got 5 all-stars on the ice, and they should find a way to figure it out. I mean, Marchessault, Forsberg, Yossi, like you've got Stamkos, tons of talent that there's no reason why that shouldn't be one of the best power plays in the league. It's going to take some getting used to, some new faces, different things to work in. But look, I'm still bullish on the Preds. I know that it's been a tough start. I know there's been some parts of their game that have been confounding. I think that team is a playoff team in the Central without reservation.
Even after that, wasn't there some stat that no teams ever started 0-5 and made it?
In the salary cap era, it's happened.
The
last one was back when Rhett was playing, 1996.
Yeah, we saw the Oilers in 32nd last year in November, boys. I'm not too. Yeah, like it's still early, and most of these things you can explain with just goaltending and shooting percentages. Like the Oilers have had shitty goaltending, and then they haven't. Now they're winning again, same as last year.
Just tell me though, when you look at the West.
Yeah.
It seems to me there's like 5 really good teams and then a whole ton of mush. Am I?
Well, I don't know. I
Exaggerating
mean, where like there's again.
Where do you have
early.
Colorado? Is Colorado in the mush? Or
where's Colorado? Because I think they're a great team, but they haven't necessarily looked like it yet.
But they've won. They went 0-4. They've now won 5 straight. Cale Makar and McKinnon are on.
Right. So they're 5-4, but so you'd put them in the top 5 for the West.
Would,
yeah. I that's where I expect them to be. They're not there now.
I'm not. Look, I think right now they've had 3 really good players carry that team.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, yeah, Justus Annunen has come up with some big saves. He's won 4 of those 5 games, and his save percentage in that stretch is .927. So they've gotten some saves finally.
Devontae's back.
Reinforcements are on the way. Nichushkin is on his way back, and you're right. They got Taves back. Nichushkin's just under 3 weeks away. To me, I just have real reservations about their goaltending, though. They've proven they can outscore it, but there was Jared Bednar over the weekend saying, well, I still look at Alexander Georgiev as our number 1, and Justus Annunen is like 20 games into his NHL career. They have to make a decision at some point in the near future on Kaapo Kähkönen with his conditioning loan. I just think we've seen a really big sample size to show that Alexander Georgiev ain't it. And I'm not ready to declare the Avs in that top 5 based on Justus Annunen.
Well, we're big on top 5. Sorry, Ryan. I was going to say we love a good top 5. Who would be in Frank's top 5?
Frank, what's your top?
Well, I don't Rhett
in the West.
Yeah, that's right.
So it would be Winnipeg, Dallas, Vegas. I'm still putting Edmonton there, and right now I'll put Vancouver.
Lankinen's settled. They've only lost 1 in regulation. Yeah.
Yeah, and 2 of the games that you guys saw it against Calgary, 2 of those were blown 3rd period leads. It doesn't seem like that's going to happen all that often or be a reoccurring theme.
Snooze against Calgary game 1.
Now, Rhett
top 5.
Rhett's top 5.
Same as Frank's.
Okay.
But I do have a question.
Out on a limb for us.
In the top 5, the Kings right now sit in the top 5 in the West.
I was stunned to see the record.
Yeah, I was too. You brought up Colorado, and so I went to the standings. I had no idea. 5-2-2, 12 points. What are the Kings? Same? No Goldie?
I just don't think they have the depth. That to me is where I look at the Kings and say, I mean, they're scoring more this year than they were last year. The system change, I think, has been good, but I think they're severely lacking the depth.
So neither of you guys have the Flames in there. That's boy.
Well, 2 losses in a row. How's everyone feeling?
That's right. Yeah, we're off the bandwagon.
Feeling more normal than when they'd won 5 in a row to start the season, Frank, to be honest. This is kind of more what we expected.
Sounds like
and that's, I think, what everyone expected. So no one was willing to declare, hey, like they're a playoff team. When do you make the determination? Like, to me, it's sometime just after Halloween. Like, you start to get into late next week, and I'm going, okay, if they're like 7-2 or something, there's probably a really good chance the Flames make the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's super shocked at what was a nice little run, and then you lose some. And I would say, so Barkov back for the Panthers. They were without Tkachuk for a while. They've had back-to-back years where they've played so much hockey, the Stanley Cup hangover and all of that. They're still 6-3-1 and atop the Atlantic.
Vitamin D.
Is that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
What do you make of the Panthers and seemingly
Rhett loves
going on? We just keep playing, just keep winning.
I continue to underestimate their defense. Like, it seems like they either have a really talented group that's evaluating who they're bringing in, which is certainly possible, and or they've got some of the best coaching in the league, because they've removed Oliver Ekman-Larsson and removed Brandon Montour. And last year, to start the year, they were without Montour and Ekblad, and they didn't miss a beat then. They haven't missed a beat now. Like, I thought, to me, between 2 consecutive runs to the final and a cup, that and losing those guys, that you'd probably see this team, at least even to start, play a little bit disinterested. Oh, Sam Reinhart, he can't go out and score at that pace again. Oh, like, all these different reasons to doubt this team, and yet they're still right there.
They're young. And look, they found Forsling on the waiver wire, and now he's making what? He's like on an 8-year deal, 6-year deal. Like these guys have always been very, very efficient. There's no bad money on that roster. Now that Bob is elite again, like that's a team that is not wasting money. They're not burning $10 million on buyouts and guys in the minors and shitty third pair guys. It's impressive.
And it's probably only going to get better, right? Because you look at, the new contract for Sam Reinhart, you look at the new deal for Carter Verhaeghe, like these are all value deals. Is Aaron Ekblad going to be next? What is Sam Bennett, one of the league leaders so far? What's he going to sign for? Like, everyone seems pretty content to be in a great setup, great environment on a team that wins with also low pressure.
And obviously Ekblad doesn't fall into that category because he was drafted there, but you look at guys like Bennett and Verhaeghe and Reinhart, they've gone from situations that were less than ideal and didn't win a lot to all of a sudden you're in Florida and life is great. And hey, look what's on my hand.
Reinhart was in that the decade of darkness in Buffalo, a big part of it.
Yeah.
Like
and hey,
you love it.
We built this sparkling new practice facility that's so close to where everyone lives at the beach that you can drive your golf cart there. And it's 80 degrees in the winter Fahrenheit, and their building's finally full. Like, there's really nothing to not like about the scenario. And I did want to give some credit, because I did mention their talent evaluation. The guy behind Carter Verhaeghe and Gustav Forsling and doesn't really get talked about a lot, but it's Rick Dudley.
Really? Rick, it's impressive stuff.
Everybody loves duds.
Like Adam Boquist is
old school.
Boquist is the other guy now. Like, it's
yeah,
the first rounder, and then he gets traded in the Seth Jones deal, and now off the scrap heap, he's going to be a stud, isn't he? Like, this is wild how they do this.
Yeah, I'm not convinced that's the case, but they clearly see something in these guys that a lot of the rest of the league doesn't.
Fly Eagles fly, Frank.
Yesterday was solid.
Yeah,
yes.
Halloween, a couple days from now. What are the kids wearing, and what are you wearing?
So my son is going as Charlie Conway from the Mighty Ducks.
Of course, very good.
Like
On brand.
My daughter has an inflatable puppy suit. And I'm gonna, I don't know, sit around and wear a Charlestown Chiefs jersey and
what's Frank's favorite?
Pretend like I'm a local drunk.
What's your favorite Halloween treat? Or do you wait for Halloween? Is there one around Halloween?
What does that mean?
Did he say, do I even wait for Halloween?
Yeah, there was a bit of a shock.
What are you saying? I don't have any self-control?
He realizes it was a shot.
Did I take a shot?
Yeah.
What are you saying? I don't have any discipline? I am not a big chocolate guy. I like gummy candy. So like Sour Patch Kids.
Baked as could be.
Yeah, anything like that.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah. Didn't know it was legal. That's what. Yeah, it is.
Is lead legal?
I think so. Something like that. Frank, appreciate you. Good to have you back. Have a good week, buddy.
See you guys.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to check out more of our content right here on the Flames Nation YouTube page. We had a bunch of great long form interviews. You can check out some videos we've done as well outside of the studio. And of course, if you want more writing or merchandise stuff, flamesnation.ca or nationgear.ca. Appreciate you watching.